Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Oh, it's okay. Um,
So, okay. So you're thinking pain relief because you had a neck injury. So what would be the end result that you would want people to experience if that was the route we were going?
um, yeah, gosh, I'm I'm just so feeling like, man, I should really nail this down, and I really don't have so much nailed down. Like I say with the topic, I'm just struggling to really nail one down and just really think like this is the one I'm going to go with.
Mhm.
Um, I
Did
know
you
you're
think
saying
any
end
more?
result.
Yeah. Did you think any more about like the parenting niche, that kind of thing? Like raising
Yeah,
kids?
I'm. I don't know that I don't think that that's the route I want to go
Okay.
at this time. Um, I mean, who knows? Like every time I say like no, that's not the route I want to go, I'm like, I mean, well, maybe I could, but then I'm like, I'm not that passionate, and I don't know. I keep going around like,
Yeah. Okay. Um, so let's see. So talk to me, tell me more about your life. Like how, like when you were younger, like what, how was it like growing up, and like what has changed for you now that's making your life better than it was a year ago, 2 years ago?
um, eesh, yeah. I I know like I discovered something I believe in like spiritually that I think is totally the answer, but I don't feel right about charging people money for that. So, and I know we talked about that a little bit, but
Like the vegan piece, is that what you're thinking?
um no, more like this. I'm referring to like a spiritual belief. So I'm just trying to think like, yeah, I don't know. Basically, I'm getting flustered because I don't want to like waste your time, and I know I need to nail down a topic. So I think I might just need a lot more time to think about it. And so yeah, I
So,
don't know what to do.
okay, so this is what I think we should do. Tell me the 5 things you're the most passionate about.
I mean, so yeah, I guess number one might be this, like I said, the spiritual belief that I have that I feel like I've found, but I can't make a business out of that because there's no way I'm not going to charge for information like that, and I wouldn't want to promote it anyway
Right.
because I feel like it's such a personal thing that that kind of thing is not like a business type of topic, at least for me. Um, so I don't think I can do that one, even though I'm really passionate about it. Other things I'm really passionate about. I am really passionate too about treating children compassionately and empathetic, being empathetic to them. I don't believe in spanking. I don't believe in time out, even. Like
Mhm.
when my son is doing something that he shouldn't be doing, like hitting his brother, like I actually take him into another room with me, and I shut the door and I sit with him, and I hold him. I believe that this is the right, better way to do it.
Yeah.
I know this, it's so like, and he'll like, sometimes he talks with me and he doesn't even like care, but sometimes he gets really upset, but I still just hold him. But anyway, that goes into whole like how I do it. But I don't know.
But
I
see,
am
that's what I
passionate.
was thinking. Like, I feel like that's, if you're passionate about that, I feel like that's a niche because that fits into relationships. And like you could do something like helping moms raise amazing humans using compassionate parenting, or try, like I help women, I help moms um raise compassionate kids with some kind of like we could like with your method, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think you said treating children compassion like with compassion, right? So like I help moms parent with compassion to raise amazing humans or like to raise like great kids or something like that. Like I think everyone wants to know that's something that all moms can relate to is like knowing in their heart they should treat kids with kindness and respect and compassion. But in the moment, that is not always what happens because there's a million other things going on. They're frustrated. They're at the end of their day and they're exhausted and they don't always maybe respond the way that they were hoping to or this create a disciplinary scenario where they're like acting out the plan that they have in their head of what this should look like, you know, it ends up being a more reaction than proactive kind of. And so maybe I don't know. I feel like that is definitely a possibility. Let's keep going on your passions and we might come back to that one. So your passion so far we have spiritual belief, treating children with compassion. Keep going. What else are you passionate about or super knowledgeable about?
So another one I was kind of thinking, which is so funny because it kind of goes against some of the things that Ted teaches about the law of attraction. I have a kind of a different take on the law of attraction, but I got to be careful about that because it kind of merges with the spiritual stuff I was talking about. And like I said, I don't feel comfortable charging money for that.
Yep.
But what I'm getting at is I've thought about for 2 years, I before I discovered the spiritual belief that I have now, for prior to that, for 2 years, I was really into Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you've heard of Abraham Hicks.
I feel like that name sounds familiar, but I don't know all about what that's about. No, I don't know enough to.
So the according to Abraham Hicks
Mhm.
themselves, as Esther Hicks is the woman who is the one who does Abraham Hicks. But she so she's a woman who claims that she channels energy named Abraham. And so like they put it together as Abraham Hicks because her name is Esther Hicks.
Okay.
So she, Esther slash Abraham, claim that this whole belief about the law of attraction that's so common now actually stemmed from them. Like,
Oh, you're frozen. Oh no. Can you hear me? Oh no. Oh no, Vicky, you're frozen. Um, Making the connection, you know, kind of all about what you've learned about and your different take on law of attraction with Abraham Hicks and Eugene Hicks and all that.
yeah, Esther Hicks.
Esther, sorry, not Eugene. I don't know where I got
It's
that.
okay. No worries. I basically, so like apparently they claim that the movie The Secret like came from them. I'm telling a lot of backstory.
Okay.
Um, the point is, a lot of people have an understanding of the law of attraction. In fact, the way Ted talks about the law of attraction, you can tell he believes it in the same way that like The Secret kind of teaches it, and the way that a lot of people these days kind of think the law of attraction works.
Hmm.
And I guess if it's working for some people, it seems to be working for Ted. I mean, that's great.
Uh-huh.
For me, it totally backfired. Like I really like had really negative experiences just because I was trying to follow this type of belief about the law of attraction works. And so basically people believe that you just think about what you want to manifest and think of it as like in the present. I don't know if you're kind of familiar with how people believe this, or if you've heard of like
Tell
the
me,
law of
you
attraction.
tell me all the things.
Okay. Okay. And you just think, for example, if you want a lot of money, you just think, try to be specific, like I want to have $1 million exactly, or whatever. And you think, okay, in the present, I have $1 million. This is what I'm doing with my $1 million. I'm driving this car, I'm living in this house, I'm yada yada. And so what the secret teaches is you have to feel it. Then you have to feel the emotion, like, yes, I'm living this dream life, and specifically I have $1 million. And you generate that emotion and you envision yourself as already having it. um, and you try to keep your emotional state high, your vibrations high, like be happy, be genuinely thankful for what you do actually already have, anything to make yourself genuinely feel happy. That keeps you in a positive state to receive your attractions. And if you feel sad, they're like, yeah, you can kind of feel sad for a while, but basically you need to raise your vibrations by feeling
Okay.
happier. And so much of that teaching is about being in denial about how you truly feel. And they might say the wording like, oh no, you're not in denial, but no, you really do need to just try to find the bright side and try to think on
Mhm.
that more, and that will bring your attractions to you and all this stuff. There's like so much I guess I could say about it. But what I found is that it completely backfired for me. It's like the more, and I was like really into it for 2 years straight. So I feel like I gave a lot of dedication for a longer period of time than a lot of people
Uh-huh.
probably do. And so once I basically got fired from my job at the time.
Okay.
Like, and it was just devastating because I was like, how could this have possibly happened? Like I'm trying to do the law of attraction here. I'm
Yeah.
trying to manifest, and I know I'm following this thing to a T. Like I'm dedicated, and I've been dedicated for 2 years. Like, and
Yeah.
it is totally backfiring. So I kind of gave up on it. Um, well, I was like, I didn't just give up on it. I was like, I know this is not working right. This is
Yeah.
not this is not working. And then some years passed and I found the spiritual belief that I have now. And they kind of address that like, that's not how the law of attraction works. There is a law of attraction. A lot of people just don't even believe that there is law of attraction, but that's not actually how it works. You have to be real with your emotions. And if you have any kind of negative feeling, you basically need to do the opposite of what this current idea is. Instead of going the happy, positive, I feel so good and thankful direction, you need to
Hmm.
dive into that negative emotion and go, yeah. So whatever it is, like if it's low self-esteem, be like, I feel really bad about myself actually. And maybe it stemmed from childhood or whatever. And I have this memory, which you might not have a memory, you might have blocked it out, but like I have this memory of being shamed when I was a child. And basically the idea is to really dive into that and really feel it and grieve it and cry and scream and punch a punching bag or punch your pillow or something, like truly dive into that negative emotion, embrace it and feel it fully. So the
Hmm.
idea is you actually release emotion by feeling it thoroughly. And I was like, this makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
And even they were talking about you'll see some improvement in your life if you're just honest about it. Like even if you're maybe in a public setting or somewhere where you can't, it would be just inappropriate to
Right.
dive into
Yeah,
emotion
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like be honest with yourself. Don't be someone who's like I'm not feeling good right now, but I'll just put on a happy face and just act like, and just tell myself fake it till you make it, and I feel so good right now. Like I'll
Yeah.
find something, like, oh, isn't this nice weather today? Be real with yourself and say, you know what, I feel like shit today, but I'm here. You can try to say I am going to do my best, but to be honest, I feel like shit today.
Yeah.
And just making that change to be real and honest with yourself, you'll have better attractions. Or even if it's not about the attraction, you'll just have better results in general in your life. And I found that that approach really was like a game changer. And it's like that resonated so much more with me. And the results, actually, I don't think there are results that other people would find that are like, wow, that's really life changing. And that's your, what is it called? Your now, wow, that is just so impressive. But for me in my life, the little things have been so different from having that attitude
Mhm.
towards things that it's really changed my life positively for me anyway. And
Yeah.
so I feel like a lot of people don't have that understanding. They just think, oh, just think happy thoughts and be happy. And if you're
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
sad, just try to get that thought away out of your head and don't
Yeah.
be real with how you really feel. So I'm really passionate about people getting real with how they really feel.
Yeah. And
So
like it's they'll get real with how they like, because I feel like feel your feelings. Yes, like what, like sit in them and then move through them and all those kinds of things. So, but what is the end result? So to help people build the relationship with themselves, to help people like what would be the end goal of, because I feel like that's a really important thing. And it's definitely something that no matter what could be a part of any of the courses that you put together, no matter what like area we decide to go in, it could definitely be a module or like a topic that you discuss related to whatever you're talking about, you know? So even if it's not the thing that we land on is like the, sorry about the barking dog. Um,
oh, it's fine. I
even
didn't even
if
hear actually.
okay. Even if it's not like the main, like your main offer, it could it definitely needs to be a part of whatever you decide to offer. Even if it is that great, but I think we really want to think about like the end result. So like, what do we really want to help people with? You know, is it fixing, like, do they do those kinds of things to help repair their marriage, you know, or to put them in a position to be a good mom or you know, anything like that. Like, I think that could relate really well to like raising children, because moms need to be real with their feelings, because a lot of times they do. You have a screaming child, you need to like deal with it and like think happy thoughts and go deal with the situation instead of actually like taking a minute later maybe to reflect and sit with your feelings and take care of yourself kind of too, you know. So I think that we could merge those ideas as well, or make shape it into something. Okay. What else are we passionate about?
Okay. Spirituality, passions, passionate about. Sorry, I'm just writing this down so I can reflect on this question. What am I passionate about? Gosh. Yeah. I want to think on this a lot more. I'm actually that fitness program that I kind of mentioned. It's the Sculpted Vegan.
Okay.
Kim Constable is her name, and she talks about this. She talks about like merging your like not basically not so great side with like the side you try to present, or maybe you are your really great side, you're not so great side, and merging it. She took a lot of stuff from Carl Jung, the
Okay.
psychologist. Um, and so yeah, I'm kind of like sort of talking about a similar thing, like being real. Like, yes, we want to be positive and compassionate and stuff like that, but we truly just are maybe really angry in this moment or whatever.
Yep.
And being real with that. Um, so trying to think what I'm passionate about, because I am passionate about like treating kids with, because there's so much like punishment with kids. And that's another thing. I try not to actually raise my kids with punishment. I more try to just raise my kids to teach them and address the situation at hand and teach them a better way of like handling it rather than punishing them. I
Mhm.
just so I'm really passionate about like compassion for kids. Um passionate about getting real. about how you really feel and channeling that into, a way that improves your situation, but you're still real about how you feel. Trying to see if there's patterns here as I'm talking.
Yeah, so
um,
I'm gonna start a Google Doc for us, like outside of the spreadsheet while you're talking, and we can just like brain dump some ideas. Um, and because I want us to like hold, please. Okay, because when you were talking, I was thinking like I help real moms raise real good humans without punishment. Or I help real moms navigate real feelings too. Um, something I was just thinking like, because like you're saying, like helping people feel feelings, right? And helping people raise kids without punishment. I help moms learn to feel their feelings and show and take care of themselves. Show. To I don't know.
I'm also really into, I haven't finished reading this book, but there's this great book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Oh
Um,
yes.
so I haven't finished reading that book. I've only read a little bit of it, but I think that I'm actually an only child. So I grew up an only child, and I'm used to just doing a lot of stuff by myself. And a lot of people, they don't like to do things by themselves. But like, for example, as when I was in my 20s, I actually did a lot of international travel, which, yes, I was fortunate and blessed to be able to
Yeah.
do that. But I did it all as a solo female traveler, which I know can be dangerous and scary for
Yeah,
a lot
but
of
good for
people.
you.
But I actually took a road trip around the United States alone, which I think was probably the most dangerous thing to do than
Yeah.
actually the international travel, because a lot of the countries that I traveled to were actually a lot safer than the U.S. But that's beside the point, I guess. But I did all of that as a solo female traveler, and I do follow a lot of solo female travelers on social media. But I
Mhm.
know a lot of, like, someone I knew, my dance director from college. I had already graduated by this point, but I was still in touch with her, and she was saying like how she would be, would never do something like that. It kind of gave me the impression that she would be way too scared to do something like that. So I am kind of passionate too about like feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that. I don't know how I would teach that and what end results, but I know that's just another thing. Talking about what am I passionate about?
Yeah. But I think like that feel the fear and do it anyways, like that is something too that applies to anything, right? Whether that's like choosing to eat a certain way, like you have to feel the fear of what other people are going to think and what like how you're going to make it work and all of those things and social situations and do it anyway. Like having kids, you have to, there's scary, especially being an only child. You feel that fear of like being a good parent, but you do it anyways. Um, Making a choice to believe in something spiritually, like you feel that fear and you do it anyways. And I think it applies to any situation, absolutely. And while that's not something that's like an end result that we can really like sell to somebody, it can absolutely be a huge component of your method and what you're coaching people and how like the perspective that you're coaching people from.
Okay. So yeah, I guess today's session, even though we wanted to get to a lot of like the nuts and bolts of like just setting things up, like I
Yep.
think today I guess is probably just going to be solely about just talking me through trying to get
Totally.
my
And I think that
ideas.
that's okay because this is like we said before, as long as this part takes is how long it takes because this is the part we have to get right. The rest is just clicking buttons and moving pieces and changing colors and fonts and all the things. So we want to make sure that this part we really like hone in on, we feel good about it, and you feel like, yeah, this is something that I could craft a course around. This is something that we can for now be excited about to get you started, and then you can add and grow from there. So, because
Okay.
soon you'll be that mom, that stay-at-home mom that started her own online business and is making billions of dollars, and everyone will want to know how you're doing it. So, but we got to start somewhere. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I was looking on Instagram at some other like parenting kinds of things. Like just looking at our other RMSs just for like inspiration. And like one was like, I help parents put an end to the power struggles with their children and secure the relationship. Um, I'm passionate about shifting perspective and helping families find peace. That's not a good one. Um, Helping parents raise themselves. That's kind of funny. Um,
That's really important actually. That's
yeah.
really cool.
Um, let's see here. Helping moms stop using punishments and yelling and learn kind limits. Um, Recovering control freak. She's a recovering control freak, yeller, and perfectionist. um, I make conscious parenting concepts easy to understand and apply. That's not a great one either, but it's like a topic that we can think about. Helping moms
Do
break
you mind
cycles.
if we explore some of these other categories like the wealth topic?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's think about like what are you knowledgeable about and passionate about in that category.
Well, I know my husband, see, that's the thing is I haven't achieved anything, but my husband and I, like my husband actually has a rental property. So real estate is something I'm interested in. I
Okay.
haven't like he already got that rental property like before we got together. So his family's a lot more knowledgeable than I am, but real estate and I believe in having like a passive online business. So because I know it's possible even though I haven't done it myself. um yeah, it seems like in this day and age like everyone should have at least one passive online income stream. It just seems like
Yeah.
that should be a thing that everyone
Well,
should
I
have.
heard somewhere actually that most millionaires have at least 5 different streams of income or sources of income. And when you think about
That's
it,
cool.
it makes sense, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it's not like when you start thinking about it too, it's not that hard to do to have different streams of income.
Yeah.
But you just have to put time into it and be smart about it and all those things. So yeah, no, I agree with you. Um, okay, so in the pain category, you talked about your neck injury. But we had a hard time thinking about what the end result was that we wanted people to get and like how you would coach people to do that. Um, so that's something that we can think about. And the money, you said you were interested in real estate. do you feel knowledgeable about that you could help people like find real estate and develop rental properties and get set up to do all of those things?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Okay.
Mm.
Um, but if you're excited about that, I mean, you could take a course on real estate or something to kind of get your bearings and start building your course as you're taking that course kind of thing. You know, that's a possibility. Um, do you feel about the online business? Is this something that you feel like knowledgeable and passionate enough about now to share out and coach people on how to do it? Or is that like something maybe down the road, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, down the road, I think the only thing that's really stopping me with that is not having yet done it myself.
Hmm.
So,
But
um,
just because you haven't done it yourself, do you feel knowledge? Like, what knowledge do you have on that? Like, how could you help other people to do that?
right. I believe in, I think in this day and age, I mean, it seems like we all could have at least one passive online
Yeah,
income stream. Um, yeah, and it doesn't even have to be high ticket stuff for everyone.
right.
Um, so just to have some passive income help people have that and get that going and
Okay, so
know that it's possible. Like I truly believe that it is possible to have a passive online income stream.
yeah. So just let's think about this then. Describe the one, like the big problem you would want to help solve for people.
I really just think the money problem helps solve so many other problems. So that's why I always come
So,
back to that one.
okay, so like, what about money though? To earn like additional income, like more passive income, um, to
Yes, to earn more passive income.
like while they're working at home kind of thing.
To allow them to free up their time to basically do more of whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
um,
Okay. Um, for their family, increase passive income to free up time for their family and passions. What would be the one big promise you could make to your customer?
I mean, eventually I'd like to be able to be like, you'll have at least one passive online income stream.
Okay.
uh,
By the end of the program, you'll have at least one online passive income stream. What, which process will you use to help this person?
um, I guess online, I'm not really sure either online products or services.
Mm-hmm. So are you thinking like you would help them discover, like, are you gonna like offer like a list of options that they could try? Are you like going to help them look at potential opportunities and make a decision and build from there? Um, what do you think? Like, how will you get them to having one? Like, what process? What are you thinking?
I'm kind of stumped.
Okay. Well, let's think about what kind of person would most likely sign up to get help with this,
Gosh, I mean, like, who wouldn't want a passive online income stream?
right?
Everyone.
But I think moms, stay-at-home moms, are your niche to start with, because like you have a story that relates to that. You have a story about feeling like you're not contributing. You have a story about feeling like you wanted to offer more, feeling like there was a part of your brain that you weren't using and accessing, feeling like your family could really benefit from this additional cash flow, feeling like you could take stress off of your husband or your partner or whoever by having a little bit of extra, that you didn't have to necessarily take time away from your kids and take time away from the things that were the most important to you, but that offered you the flexibility to free up time and to free up your husband's time so you guys could go and do and play and have fun. What do you think? I don't feel like you're sold on that.
Yeah, I I've just got so many thoughts going through my head. Man, oh, I just want to get clear on this and oh,
Yep. So we want to think about what you're passionate about and what you're knowledgeable about, because we want you to position yourself as an expert in this area, an expert that can share lots of amazing information and helpful tips and tricks and guidance to make people think that's the lady that I want to learn from, you know, because you have such amazing information and knowledge to share. And I think using that to kind of guide what you're thinking.
do you mind if I ask, like, how did you come up with your, like, I know you have your story brutal before your
Mm-hmm.
discovery and your now wow, but like when you were starting this, like how did you land on your topic and everything, like your like definite end result and stuff like that? Like how did you already kind of know it, and like so when you found Ted's course you were like, oh yes, I can implement it here, or did you have to have help like me?
Well, I needed help to figure out, like, I had an idea. Like, I knew I wanted to help people not feel sick anymore. I wanted people that were experiencing like chronic symptoms and maybe not getting the answers that they were wanting from mainstream medicine and like allopathic medicine. Like, I wanted to support them in that. And I knew that there were people out there that were offering up amazing information and helping people to heal and become their own kind of healer. So, anyways, I wanted to help people learn the information that I had learned and implement it for themselves. And so I just needed help because I had like, I've had a big transformation and I tried something very specific that has drastically changed my health for the better, the detoxification and all of those practices, raw food and herbs, those things have changed everything for me. And so I just needed a way to make my like, I help blank get blank clear. Like, I didn't want it to be about weight loss because I know that weight loss sells, but that doesn't resonate with me because that's not why I started on this journey. Um, I think I can definitely help people who want to lose weight or who are experiencing like, but I didn't want that to be like the focus. So yeah. So we just kind of, the problem that I was experiencing was chronic symptoms. I healed them naturally, and I wanted to help other people do the same thing. So And I only like, that's the area that I'm passionate about. And that's the area that I wanted to help people with. So I really only had like one flight path, I guess, um, and one thing that I wanted to share about on like social media and that kind of stuff. So, um, I don't know. I feel like everyone's different though, and everyone has different experiences. And I also think though that everybody has a story, and everyone has a story of transformation and things that have shifted their life or changed something for the better. And we just want to, like, you have something that's obviously done that for you somewhere in your life, like whether it's your decision to parent your children the way that you are choosing to parent, or your interest in like passion for finding another source of income. There's a reason behind that. There's a story behind that. And we just have to kind of figure out a way to leverage that so that you can help other people do the same and find that passion and all of that. I don't think that was very helpful. I don't know if it was or not, but I feel like I had something happen to me there. I did something to change it, and that's what I want to share. So it was a little bit more like straightforward. Not everyone's just like that, and that's okay. It has to, you're you, and that's special. So we have to figure out what you want to share and what you feel aligned with sharing. So I think we can keep looking at like the end result. Like, what do you really want to help? Because that's the biggest thing. And like, I know you watched the Carrie video, right? Helping Carrie get clear on her offer. So like, think about that volcano, right? You want something really specific and like a very small niche that people are going to get sucked into the vacuum, right? They're going to be super interested in that. And then from there, all of the other things that you're passionate about, like feeling the fear and just going for it and doing it anyways, and your twist on like in your kind of shift on the law of attraction, whatever it is, like that could all be a part of not the big thing, but the little thing that is gonna, you know, so think about that too. We just have to make sure that the end result, the thing that's gonna suck people in, is really strong.
Okay.
And it has to be in one of those 4 areas, because there's not a lot of wiggle room there, unless you're like Oprah, who could sell anything and everyone would be like, oh, if Oprah says I need it, I need it. Or
Yeah.
if you're like already a very famous celebrity, or have a huge following. And we are not that. I am not that. I don't know about you, but so we have to make sure that that end result is something that people really are going to want. And the more specific we can be, the better. So think about that. Do you want to, and this is totally your call, I feel like we're at a place right now where I'm going to share this with you, and let's just work on this document. And we can just like brain dump on it and just dump ideas on there. I'll put the link in the chat too, but I just shared it with you. And like each of the 4 categories, like the 4 categories are on here, so we can start looking at adding more things underneath there. In each of those categories based on your life experiences. I added raising kids with compassion on there. So any of those 4 things we could craft into something. We just need to think about from here what our end result is. Like what are we, so if we're talking about a neck injury and that was like obviously very traumatic and sounds horribly painful, what's the end result we want people to experience? If, like just thinking through each of those things and adding more to it, thinking about potential RMS statements, and just we can see where we get. And then do you have time tomorrow? Like what's your plans for the rest of the week? Let's make sure we have time scheduled and we can get going.
Yes, I was planning on 2 days, like today and tomorrow, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a business up and running after tomorrow. But anyway, yes, I do have today and tomorrow
Okay.
free.
Okay. So let's look at tomorrow. What time works for you tomorrow?
Uh, just about any time.
Okay. Uh, let's see. What about would like same time tomorrow, like 2 o'clock? Does that work for you?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. I will add. Um, and no, like ideally, yes, this does happen and sometimes it happens, sometimes it happens in um a couple of days, but sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. And the biggest thing is we want to make sure that you walk away from this feeling like I'm clear on what I'm going to offer, I'm clear on what my course is, I'm clear on what my next steps are, and I feel really good about it. So if that takes a little bit longer, I feel okay with that. Do you?
Yes, I feel bad kind of you having to spend so much time on this, but
No,
which I
that's
know that's
okay.
what we're here for, but
That is what we're here for. And my job is to make sure that you are feeling like, yeah, I've got a business and I'm ready to run with it. And so we'll get there. And if we need to bring in reinforcements, we can do that too. So just know like we'll get there. But I think our best plan for now is to push pause for tonight, sit with all of this, think about what you're really passionate about, think about what you have like a lot of knowledge about, that you've done your own self-education on, that you've done your own research and application to your own life, and think about where shifts have happened and where transformations have happened, and start writing it down, and let's start working on getting clear. And think
okay,
about
yeah,
this.
that's the thing is like I know there have been so many multiple times in my life where am I feel it. It's like I don't know if it's just because I'm super introverted, but it usually starts internally.
Mhm.
Um like I just am so the emotion, I'm very much, I don't know if the word would be in alignment, but I just feel so knowing and like just like with the whole vegan thing or the spiritual thing, like I know for
Mhm.
sure like this is, I guess the word would be the truth. But even with things like schoolwork, like passing a test or whatever, sometimes I would be like, yes, I know I'm going to do well at this, and like no one could tell me otherwise, or I would for sure end up doing well in these certain areas just because I'm so internally, I know for sure. And it's like I've struggled all these years, like when it comes to this business topic, like I just feel like when I realize it or bring it out or come across it or whatever the case may be, like I'm gonna feel that because I know
Mhm.
that everything I've ever been sure about before, like I've felt that emotional like sureness. And it's like gosh, I'm struggling so much because all these years I've never felt that. So it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, if I could have someone just who knows how I can like find that or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I mean, I think just in listening to you, and you may not agree with this, and this is just something to think on for tonight, but I feel like, and I'm not trying to push this either, but I feel like you're a good mom. And I feel like you do a lot of really good things for your kiddos, just in like the few things that you've shared and how you handle situations and how you love on them and support them through maybe situations where they didn't show up as their best. You help them and you love on them and you show them that you're going to be there no matter what. And not every parent has that skill set. And I feel like maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit for how good you are at your current job. And your current job is being a full-time mom. And those kiddos are growing into amazing little people because they have you. And not everyone has that. And so I think a lot of moms, like you might not feel fear and do it anyway with your kids, but a lot of parents, I think, feel that fear and still have to show up every day wondering if they're going to be a good parent or if they're going to be a good mom or dad or whatever. And so maybe your gift and your niche is helping people, parents, maybe not just moms, but parents in general, find their stride, and understand that like I am an expert on being a mom because you are. You're an expert on being a mom. And you're probably super knowledgeable about that because you've been doing it for quite some time now. And you spend more time with those little people than you spend with just about anyone else. And so I think thinking about that and thinking about how like the law of attraction plays into that really well and your take on it, because a lot of parents are like grin and bear it, like we prayed for these little humans are for a very long time and here they are, so we have to be grateful, and like all the things, and maybe they don't give themselves the time or the space to sit with like this is really hard or this is really frustrating, and maybe you can help guide them through that, and maybe you can help them find that, like give themselves grace, and maybe they'll be able to show up as better parents because they've actually felt their feelings and their emotions, and maybe they haven't found the same spirituality that you have or that feeling, but maybe they feel more connected to themselves because they've learned how to sit with their emotions and identify their emotions first of all, and like be aware of the fact that like, whoa, I am spiraling, I need to like take a minute, and then they can step back out into the room and show up as a good parent, regrouped and ready to rumble, so I don't know, I feel like it's worth thinking about because I think that's an area. And then maybe from there, you could grow into like helping parents develop a passive income to allow to free up time and relieve stress, like financial stress, so we can do more fun things with our family. And then maybe from there, you break into eventually like feeding your family vegan meals. And maybe from there, like there's a lot of different branches you could go when you're thinking about like family, parenting, those kinds of things. So just some food for thought to think about. And then just brain dump anything you can think of, just put it on there. And then tomorrow when we regroup, we're going to get clear. And I just have a good feeling we're going to find something that you're like, oh yeah, I feel it. That's what I'm going for.
Okay. Random, but I just want to compliment you. You seem like you like really have a really great understanding of like all this stuff. Like it's
Oh, well,
funny because
thank
you're
you.
like, oh no, I'm not a mom yet, but it's like you are speaking to like I think everything I've ever heard a lot of moms say. So I think that's really, really cool that you already have such a great understanding. I guess because you said your mom was a stay-at-home mom, but you already have a really great understanding
Oh,
of
well,
like,
thanks. Thanks.
yeah, of the emotions that I guess stay-at-home moms go through. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, I have a little bit of insight because I worked with kids and families,
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
that doesn't make me, that doesn't mean I was ever in your shoes, but at least I've seen a lot of people go through that, and maybe you're a better mom than you even are giving yourself credit for. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So keep brain dumping. I'll keep putting stuff on there. And we can, when we regroup tomorrow, we'll just go over everything. You'll like tell me any thoughts that you've had, any things that have come up that you've been thinking about, and we'll dig in, and then yeah, just really keep thinking about end result.
End result.
Blank, get blank. Okay. All right. Sound good? That's your homework for tonight, is to brain dump on this, think about what you're passionate about, what you're knowledgeable about, and what end result you could help people to reach.
Okay.
Okay. And yes, I'll see you tomorrow at 2:00.
Okay.
Well,
Tomorrow too.
1:00 your time.
1 o'clock my time. Okay, perfect. I'm glad you said that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And I'll copy I put it on there for 2 hours, but we'll be on for as long as we need to, and we can adjust from there. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Allie.
Thank you. It was so good to meet you, and I'm excited. I think once we get going, we're gonna get going, and it's gonna be like smooth sailing. So,
Cool.
okay. All
Awesome.
right. Well, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.